In yesterday's video, I told you all that what we were seeing from Solana was what I believe to be an overreaction, but something that we were absolutely prepared for. I showed you all some of the charts and told you you need to watch extremely closely this specific level, and well, that specific level is one that we are at right now. So what I wanted to do is give you just a quick few minute update on exactly what you need to be on the lookout for and how you need to approach this going forward, because of course this could continue to get relatively ugly from here. So with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's get straight into the video. Now, as you guys can see here, we have now reached this ascending level of support that we have been talking about for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I mean weeks and weeks and weeks. Solana holders, you must be very careful now. We were talking about coming back down to this trend line. This is Solana's last chance. You must be prepared. Talking here, you absolutely must be careful now. I was saying, listen, we very well might come back down to this trend line if we keep getting rejected off of this resistance, which is exactly what happened. And now at this given point, we are at, this is the kind of the moment of truth. This could easily be Solana's last chance to get this move to the upside before what could be a continuation of another 15 to 20% to the downside, or I mean, worst case scenario, a possible move of over 30% to the downside. Okay, so at this given point, what you need to be on the lookout for is how do we interact with this little triangle that we're in now. We have a key level of resistance above us now, looking at about $18.20. Now we have a key level of support right below us, an ascending level of support currently at about $17.16. So let's say $17.10 roughly. If we hit that level, then you know we lost support. Okay, this little triangle is the absolute determining factor of what's going to happen for Solana, for what I believe to be at least the next few weeks, possibly even the next few months. If Solana's price is capable of establishing some support here and bouncing back above the trend line and making this move to the upside, it might delay the inevitable break to the downside that I do believe will happen almost no matter what. I think eventually we will break this key level of support. I personally would rather us just get it over with now, but to each their own. Okay, now, if we do that, of course, I will update you, but I don't necessarily believe that is what's most likely. I think what is most likely is that we do maybe go a little sideways and then eventually break to the downside. So let's just focus on that today. Under the circumstance that we break to the downside, okay, there's going to be one thing that's going to happen, and that's going to be called a back test. What happens whenever you break to the downside of key level of support is you do something like this, whether it's like that, or whether it's like this, or whether it's like this, right? In which you lose that key level support, you go back up to it, and you back test it to try to get back above it, right? The bulls are like, no, not yet. Let's get back above it, right? Now, I do believe this back test would happen rather soon. The reason why I do believe this back test would happen rather soon, let's get that out the way, is due to the fact that our daily chart prime oscillator is giving us some decent indication right now. What you can see here is that we have gotten two peak finders, which generally find peaks within your chart. This reversal triangle went off. We have some hidden bullish divergence flashing right here, but nothing really happening right here. So I do believe if we do get a pull to the downside one more time, we will see some type of bullish divergence flashing, maybe even oversold reading flashing here, and then we should be in good position to make one more attempt towards the upside. Okay, I do believe that to be the case. The other reason I believe that to be the case is because we are now under, or towards the very outside of your Bollinger Band envelope. And generally speaking, when you fall outside your Bollinger Band envelope, you will retreat back up towards that 20 SMA. And so my guess here is that if we do get a pull to the downside like this, we'll bounce back up to that 20 SMA and we will try to bounce back into this channel. Now, will we successfully backtest this? Will all of that work out and the bulls get us back in here? Obviously, I have no idea. But in general, it usually doesn't, right? With ascending structure of this nature, it usually won't. We'll usually go sideways, fall out of it, backtest, then look to continue to the downside. That's just typically how this goes. So under the circumstance that happens, I'm going to give you the two key areas that I'm actually going to possibly open up some small, tiny, minor leverage short trades to, because I am quite confident that will come down to them. The first one being about $15.70. The second one being $12.85. Obviously, the reason that this is the breakout point that I'm looking for is it is the last previous point of support here. It's your 76 Fibonacci retracement level, and that generally is going to be kind of a magnet. Once you fall out, you're usually going back towards that level. And then if that level is lost, $12.85 is generally where we would go, because that's the last time that we touch support on that ascending level of support. Okay. Now, another thing that does kind of coincide quite well with this is if we do look at the weekly charts, you can see two things here. Thing number one is the fact that if we go ahead and turn those Bollinger Bands back on, we will see the outside of the Bollinger Band envelope right around that $15.64 level, which is generally where we would go, considering we have now lost that 20 simple moving average. And then obviously we did get the wick down to that 1286 level down here, which does establish this as the secondary level of support. So what I'm saying today is that as we do continuously get closer and closer to this ascending level of support, watch it closely. If we break it and fail to backtest or fail to recapture it on the back test, and we back test like this, we're likely going to 1571, and if we lose that, we're likely going to 1285. Both of those could look like moves of somewhere around 10% to the downside on the first one, and what easily could be another 25% to the downside on the second one. And so of course I will be opening some tiny minor leverage short trades on those if the circumstances do align well. So I'll continue to update you as this plays out. Solana's moving fast. People are questioning what is going on. I've been one of the #1 sources for Solana updates since the beginning of the bear market. So if you do enjoy these updates, make sure you do subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out, everybody.